I've been desperate to get SP3 in a corner about Thunder Rosa. Can't wait to see what defense he has up his sleeve for his favorite wrestler. But I mean, we say that though, and again, even the gateway into this conversation, I say that as if she needs defending, right? We don't know what's true about all of this. It's all hearsay. I'm not, not disparaging Voices of Wrestling or anything. They've had some solid reports, but this particular one said that Thunder Rosa, after breaking Jamie Hayter's nose, which was brutal, by the way. I don't know if you, I think the word going around is the drop kick, right? The missile drop kick when she's going for the pin. Oh, that shit looks nasty.
No, it's actually a brain buster, brain buster where
Jamie does it,
and then Thunder Rosa's knee hits her. The drop kick, I believe, was either before or after that, but the real source of the injury was a brain buster that Jamie did, and Thunder Rosa landed.
Gravity needs to apologize.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this. Either way, the missile drop kick looks fucking. That shit looks way too. Bam! She got all of that. Every bit of it, she got it. But yeah, like the report said anyway after this that there apparently was some heat. Apparently there's long-standing, year-long heat with Britt Baker anyway, and Thunder Rosa. I could kind of believe that. I always kind of not exactly, but I thought they had that kind of professional animosity that, like Triple H and The Rock did. Like, if they're pros, they do business, but I didn't think that they loved each other or anything. And then apparently Jamie Hayter comes after her, angry about what happened in the match, and Thunder Rosa hides in a toilet. If you believe,
you mean the MMA fighter hid in the toilet? You mean someone that would actually stand up and she'll step up to her? She hid in the toilet. That sounds far-fetched to me.
It does, but it's not out of the realms. You can't just dismiss it because of that. There's a lot of different circumstances, right? Who knows? There could have been, it could have been 3 or 4. It's not just, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe
she just wanted to do, maybe she ain't scared. Maybe she's trying to diffuse.
Tommy was rumbling.
It could be anything. It could be anything. Like, we don't know, right?
She needed to do number 2. She's like, I can't deal with this right now. Let me do my number 2. I'll come back. We'll talk about it in the streets if we must do. You know what I'm saying?
It was an honest number 2.
Yeah.
But this is it. There's been even more reports this week. I'm sure SP3 will be able to say where they come from. That she is regularly rude and shouts at extras and stuff like that. It's like, it just feels like there's been a pile on Thunder Rosa this week. Like, it's no coincidence it's all come out this week. Thunder Rosa, as we all know, Mission Pro Wrestling, and I know she's done or gone to immense lengths to get ladies chances in AEW, that she's helped train or book. There's a lot. What I'm trying to say here, there's 3 points we've touched on there, really, and none of them are clear for me. None of them are clear cut. There's a lot of grey area in all of them. Is Thunder Rosa an angel? No, I'm not saying she is. She's had a lot of incidents. We can say that much. Marketing, sandbagging, and whatnot. But what do we make of this particular slew of reports? Because I must say the timing for me is where I start to go, everyone's piping up now, are they?
Yeah, it kind of seems like, I hate to use this term, but a smear campaign, in my opinion. So basically the story started, like you said, with the Voices of Wrestling report that came out after Dynamite this week, where Thunder Rosa announced that she's injured and they would crown an interim AEW Women's World Champion at All Out. And basically the Voices of Wrestling report, I'm not going to say it was legit or not legit, but it made it seem like Thunder Rosa had cut her own Lost Your Smile promo. If you don't know, now you know that Shawn Michaels was not actually injured before WrestleMania 13. He had a bad knee, but he wasn't injured enough to take it out of action, and he didn't want a job to Bret Hart, as was the plan for Bret to get his win back from WrestleMania 12. So he cut the Lost Your Smile promo, vacated the title, so he wouldn't have to defend it. That's what they tried to make.
WrestleMania 13, and he turned up. Bret was so dancing. Bret was dancing. Like, you son of a mother.
Can we just add the context here, though, to what SP3 is saying, that there are reports going around this week that Thunder Rosa did not want to do the job to Tony Storm. We haven't mentioned that part. Tony Storm was allegedly meant to win the title. I think Fightful even reported that. And Thunder Rosa, according to Fightful, haven't said this part. They are trying to work on the injury. I know PW Insider have come out since and said that it is a legit back issue. I want to say
a
it is
bulging disc. She has a
right.
bulging disc problem in her back, and she actually had an interview on Busted Open Radio where she does regular appearances, and said that she hasn't been able to like walk on certain days. So like it's a serious injury enough for her to take time off of action. And yes, it was confirmed by Wrestling Observer and Fightful that Tony Storm was planned to win the AEW Women's World Championship at All Out. And then there was the Fightful report that talked about the heat between Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. And then there was a further report from David Bixenspan over on
Jesus Christ.
fanbite.com that kind of talked about two different opponents that he spoke to, both saying that Thunder Rosa, basically her strikes and her moves in the ring almost feel like they are about to kill you. And
MMA.
one of the opponents said that she has a lack of fundamentals and wasn't trained properly. And then there was a third opponent that they spoke to that basically said that they've had nothing but positive experiences with her, and that yes, she can be stiff in the ring, but anytime she's talked to her about it, they never had the issues again. So it's a lot of muddying of issues, and really what the Fightful report and what David Bixenspan's report kind of tell us is that the locker room is kind of split on how they feel about her. And I think the more damning of the stuff that came out from David Bixenspan was her kind of yelling at extras and people in the back on Dark. And then GCW's Dark Sheik came out and put out a tweet saying that Thunder Rosa also at the GCW event at Hammerstein Ballroom in January was yelling at rookies and veterans backstage at that show. So that was kind of like further, validity to what David Bixenspan put out there.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah, you guys know I'm a Thunder Rosa fan. I've had nothing but positive experiences and interactions with her. I've been able to work with her for Mission Pro Wrestling. I regularly talk to her on social media as well. I have nothing but positive things to say about her, but we all know the wrestling business, there can be a lot of split down the middle. If you're angry one day and she has a fiery personality, I've compared her to the Rosie Perez of professional wrestling, where she has that fiery kind of Latina attitude. So that can come off one way to one person, and you can come off another way to another person. And it feels like there is no consensus. That was the main thing that David Bixenspan did in his report, and I think he did an excellent job of covering how there was like the three sources that he spoke to. Two of them had negative experience with Thunder Rosa, and the third had a positive experience with her, and there is no consensus when it comes to that. She comes off negative to some people, positive to others. I think that's kind of the gist of the story, is that it's split down the middle on how she's been backstage, but there is legitimate heat there.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things too. Like I can really, no pun intended, I couldn't really give a shit about the toilet stuff, like whatever. But
Couldn't give a shit. You said shit, toilet stuff. Haha, punny.
I just said no pun. I just said none. But that's the problem, right? Like we've all seen it play out in ring where there has Evilise and whatnot. Like clearly there are some chemistry issues for her at some point working with different people. And Britt Baker is a powerful person in the dressing room. I'm not saying that she's making life hard for anyone, or anyone is, but as well, when you don't get on with someone, I've had it in football teams, right? You don't particularly like someone, they've got who they talk to in the team and hang around with, and you're kind of with your people. Like, and I'm just using this analogy because obviously it's a changing room, as we call it in the UK, not a locker room. But it is a kind of fractured, difficult place at times. And from where I'm sitting, just looking at these reports, I think that's what SB3 is alluding to. That some people have been waiting for maybe this opportunity to kind of go, well, you know what? Now that this has come out, well, while we're at it, I don't like her very much either. But then she's going to have her supporters too, and I am certainly a fan. I have no knowledge of what's going on, but like these instances in the ring. And we're hearing more reports about what's going on backstage now, but they seem to be a fairly common occurrence, which that's a concern just on the overall scale of a happy locker room.
It's true. But first of all, AMAC, your friend Simon Miller's been hanging out Thunder Rosa. Ask him if you saw Thunder Rosa shouting at extras or shouting at rookies. He'll tell you the truth. He knows. And number two, do you remember when Thunder Rosa was NWA Women's Champion? Do you remember she hid in the toilet because she had to drop the title to Serena Deeb? No, that didn't happen. So I don't know, because she's lost the title before. Yeah,
What's
exactly.
What's that got to do with anything?
As in, I made up a scenario to show that, you know,
that's got nothing to do with a real fight that she might have had backstage. You've just equated.
She lost the title. Yeah, I'm saying that she lost the title before. She lost the belt to Serena Deeb.
She did. She was on her way to AEW. She didn't give a shit.
What you mean? She still give a shit. She's losing the belt. It's like, I'm not laying for anybody.
Man. It might be. I don't know for you know, from what I could tell, man, and the interview that I had with her, she was ready to leave NWA behind and head to AEW. SB3, yes or no?
100% yes. She was done with NWA at that point. She literally had Tony Khan do the negotiation to get her out of her NWA deal with Billy Corgan. So yeah, I think it's a little bit different, but I don't think she's the type of person. She like we said, there's not a consistency with how people feel about her, but I do know for one thing, her and Toni Storm are cool. And I think if she was going to drop the AEW Women's World Championship to anybody, it would be with someone like Toni Storm, who she does have a good relationship with. So I don't believe that whole story that she just came up with the injury to avoid losing the title.
And to answer your question,
I don't buy that either, for the record. I don't buy that.
And to answer your question, it seems like it's Britt Baker's the one that's been firing shots, sandbagging. Every time Britt Baker does promos, she said subs shots. Because all Thunder Rosa's doing is playing the part of a babyface champion, talk about upcoming opponent. Britt Baker's like, gosh, man, has this division been boring without me? I'm back here to save it. You know, I'm firing shots. Oh, sandbagging. Like, I don't know about you. I'll be mad too. If I was Thunder Rosa, I'd be like Bret Hart. Hey, stop saying stuff about me in front of the camera, or I'm going to pull your hair out and beat the crap out of you. So yeah, there has been issues in the locker room. Tony Khan probably needs to get his troops in order, because it seems like there's a disconnect, there's a discord. Someone may get their ass whipped for ruining the ring. Maybe like this much from a shoot fight.